Hey.
Hey, what's up? Welcome to the first ever episode of Smash Masters, where uh, Collision Tech Nick and Stefan from You Break I Fix, we're going to bring you all things collision, glue pull, paintless dent repair work, anything that you want to learn. We're finna give it
Basically,
to
the combination of all those things coming
you. Yeah,
together. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, welcome. I mean, it just, you guys give us a chance to get used to this platform and everything. If we have any technical difficulties, bear with us. But yeah, first off, I'd like to we have this episode. Might as well be in honor of Natalio Balderrama and Kevin Halewood. We really thank these guys. I never got to meet either of them, but I really gotta just thank them for their contributions to the industry. It's or the
yeah. From
creation of
what
the
I
industry.
understand, yeah, two big creators. Um, I would say some of the founders of getting a lot of the stuff started and going. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, so moving on, I'd like to. We're gonna introduce ourselves. We don't have a guest tonight because we have. Sorry, I'm just sharing my live to the Smash Masters page for everybody who's waiting over there. Or I can't. So everybody who's trying on the Smash Masters page, I apologize. I can't share it over there, but we're live on my personal profile. But
Yeah, I don't think it was. I think the uh, the Smash Masters was a little too early for us to start doing a lot of stuff on it. So
maybe because I
probably,
just created the group. I don't.
yeah, next time around, we probably will be able to go on it for sure.
All right. So first off, I'll ask you, Nick. All right, what got you into auto body?
Um, Actually, Mini Trucking Magazine got me into auto body when I was probably about like 13 years old. I wanted to build some really cool custom cars, trucks. So that's really what got me into it.
Okay.
First
All
time I
right.
ever started um, doing any form of a collision work. We built a lot of totals, and I'd get off at the school bus at the shop, and they'd have stuff everywhere. So I got to learn a lot of it,
Okay.
how the process works, tearing stuff down and doing frame pulling, frame swapping, and all that kind of stuff. So when I was 17, I got my first job in a collision shop, actually. So that was fun.
You started a lot earlier than I did. I didn't start till I was 20, 21, around there.
Yeah. Well,
So,
I learned the hard way. I got all my lessons were earned really good. So
yeah. All
yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah. What about you?
What got me into auto body? Honestly, it was a love of cars, and I really didn't know whether I wanted to be a mechanic or an auto body tech. It was kind of I kind of rolled the dice, but
See,
I'm
more
glad I
like
went this way.
yeah,
I'm glad I went this way. In retrospect, it was definitely a better route for me. Can pay attention to details. I enjoy working on something different, and every collision is different. So it's that it was
yeah,
right up
yeah.
my alley for sure.
So you went to you took a college course, right? You took
I went to
college.
trade school. Yep, I
Okay,
went to after high school trade school. I did a 15-month program.
15-month program. How well did that treat you? You
It
would
was all right. It was
think
okay.
it was pretty good. See, I
So
didn't.
yeah,
So I didn't know.
I mean, what I will say to a trade school is I didn't have any connections to the industry. So having the trade school degree, and especially having it say that I graduated, with honors, um, it got me into a shop a lot easier than if I didn't have that piece of paper because I didn't know anybody. And it's hard to get a job when everybody wants people with experience,
Yeah, yeah. They want
so.
you to just hit the ground running, and you didn't have the not there yet, kind of, but you was enough to get your foot in the door, huh?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So that's what the trade school got me. And I mean, in all fairness, I did get some hands-on learning. I got to try things here and there. Um, I mean, you leave trade school still not knowing how the industry works because you haven't been in the industry yet. But I got to play with a welder and hammers and stuff, so I had a little experience. Wasn't fresh out of the gate,
Yeah. Yeah.
but pretty
Taught you
close
enough
to
to
it.
be dangerous, huh?
Yeah, that's an accurate description.
Yeah. Yeah. There.
Absolutely.
Yeah. For some
Uh,
reason, it wouldn't let us. I guess the Facebook page is still too new, so we couldn't stream on there.
yeah, it's that was an unexpected hurdle that we hit. I
Yeah.
guess I have to turn
Very last moment.
my
We
audio
wasn't
off.
expecting that.
So yeah, no. Hopefully, we'll be on the Smash Masters Facebook page starting next episode, which we're planning for in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And we have a Viper wants to know, do I think trade school was worth it? So I do because it got me my first job. But I would like to say that if you can get into an apprenticeship program at a shop, I'd send people that direction if they can, if that's an
Yeah.
option, or if you know somebody in a trade who's willing to take you on as an apprentice.
Yeah, there's a lot of places doing apprenticeship programs now to get you into the door, so it'll be a little easier to take that next step. So if you can do that, that's definitely the way to go.
Absolutely, you get paid to learn instead of paying to learn, and you're not learning as much in the trade school because you're not doing the work. When you're in the shop, you're learning. That's real hands-on. You're learning every minute,
Yeah,
failing and learning. That's how
yeah,
you learn.
you definitely got to get some of those fails under your belt. But once you do start winning, it's fantastic. It's really satisfying. So they say
Oh yeah,
nowadays.
absolutely, absolutely. All
Yeah.
right, so I mean, we one thing we have, so we don't have much in common there. How we started. Um, I mean,
No,
honestly,
but
we don't.
that's a good thing though, because I went one direction and I have that experience on that end, and you can talk about your experience in the trade school ways and how that worked and affected you. Either way, we both got to the same point, but a
Right.
lot of people coming up wanting to know what's better or worse for somebody. We can put them in the right spot pretty easy.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's why I love our team up here. Is that we've. It's funny how I mean, we're different areas of the country, vastly different areas of the country, and vastly different learning experiences. But we both ended up heading towards the glue pulling. We both
Yeah,
ended up heading towards the paintless dent repair. And we even did that in different ways.
absolutely.
So I want to ask you, like, how did you go about learning PDR as the collision tech?
I first started doing glue pull repairs around 2018. Got hold of the first Kiko kit, and they had some ice tabs,
There's a
centipedes, and
name drop.
yeah, I had zero clue how to use all of it. And again, I did that, no training whatsoever. So there was a guy come through the shop doing PDR work, and I just kind of picked his brain a little bit and see get some steps going how to get this stuff started. And yeah, he kind of stepped in there for me and gave me my first A1 Tools slide hammer. But back to the uh, back to the glue pulling stuff, I pretty much failed at that miserably the first, I don't know, 5 or 6 times I even tried it.
Okay.
Uh, it's the process. The process works, and you have to stick to it. That's why they have it out there. If you ever hear guys preaching about the process, stick to it because it works.
Yes.
And yeah,
Not about
that's
the glue.
it's not about the glue. It's some, but most all you can do what you want with it with pretty much any of them. What's going on, Eldar?
Eldar, Car Repair USA, another influence for me on social media for glue pulling, I will say. Should have tried it in '03. The shit was horrible back then.
Yeah, and in 2003, it was totally different world for me in the collision world than what it is now. So I wouldn't have even thought about paintless dent repair or even glue pull repair back then. It just wasn't even in the realm of thinking.
And so you also told me you would practice a lot on used panels, a lot with like the pushing stuff part of
Hmm.
PDR, right? And that's how you did a lot of practice with that.
Yep. I did a lot of practice with that, and I didn't have a lot of the tools, so some I kind of made do, some I kind of made myself, and
That's
kind of
awesome.
practice that way. So it was definitely harder than getting training. I would definitely seek out training for paintless dent repair. You'll for what you'll pay somebody, it's well worth it to skip all those steps. It is difficult, but
So we'll call
um,
your route the long way.
mine is definitely the long way.
The long
Yes.
way. Okay, so I mean, I
Yeah.
went the short way, and it didn't feel short.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, I'd say, I mean, all of us are still learning. I'm especially still learning. I'm a newbie PDR tech, but I mean, I decided, I committed, and I said, this is something that I want to learn. And I'm determined to go and spend my own money on training, which is something I had never done for my career before because I had always had shops to pay for training for me.
Hmm.
So signing up for real world PDR, bringing home a junk hood
Hmm.
and one of my stands, and basically the shop had a set of tools, so I was extremely lucky with
Yeah.
that. So somebody went to the Dinking Institute, didn't end up using the tools, so they were lying there, plus a Stucky mobile light. So I was ready to just start playing and just paying for training, and
Yeah.
it set me on that fast path. And I mean, that's what I did in all my free time. I'd get home, sit down, and just push dents. I mean, I light the fire first, I just push dents and watch videos. I'd have the videos on up on the TV and the hood right in front of the TV in my living room.
Yeah.
In Tennessee.
Right above me. That's in Dapper Dent Repair Country.
So I know nothing about average salary of that area. I mean, what I always like to tell people is that once you are experienced, you have the opportunity to make a good living into six figures. Eldar.
Eldar, it wouldn't let us go on this Smash Masters page, so you'll have to go to Stefan's page.
Yeah, it's on my profile, the Stefan
Yeah.
Esche profile today,
Is it?
only on
Is
Facebook. But he's
it?
on
What it?
YouTube.
Yeah, it's on YouTube as well, right?
So he's on YouTube watching us right
Oh,
now.
okay, yeah.
So Viper, our buddy Andy here, Dapper Dent Repair, is asking where you are. But
Yeah.
I don't,
So,
you have the, so I mean, he's saying he's making 70 right now. I mean, you have the opportunity to do that, for sure, to make more than that. I can't say that you'd make it right away because it takes time to learn this trade.
yeah, it
But
does. It takes time, but you would well exceed that by. It depends on how. I don't want to throw complete numbers out there, but that's a low number.
yeah,
That's a low number.
Viper says he's in Savannah.
Yeah.
So I mean, just to continue my path towards PDR, I was after doing, I'd say, about 6 months of pushing and getting to the point where I felt like I could take out small hail size dents.
Hmm.
Um, I still was having an issue with texture. So, and I just really I wanted someone to look over my shoulder who had some experience, and just say, no, 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 you're doing this. I want you to do this. So I'm like, I need some in-person training.
Yeah.
Um,
Cleaner, pushing cleaner, less
yeah.
knockdown, less all that stuff into one. Speaking of that, you know, you're just talking about you had a set of tools there. My first ever set of tools, PDR tools, and you're probably gonna think this is funny, but was a set of snap-on radiator hose pick set.
Okay. I could see that.
And if you look, you have the nice round. It's kind of like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it's like the Reaper rods, but they have that kind of look to them. Some
Yeah.
some of them do. So yeah, I used a lot of those.
That's funny. I'm gonna put my radiator pick tool set into the pack out.
Yeah, you definitely should, because getting into those tight areas, man, it works wonders. And
That's
so
that's that's interesting. That's
so
really
yeah,
interesting.
yeah. If guys, you can use stuff like that to get started on if you already have stuff like that laying around. Um, and I wouldn't be scared to say give it a go. See what you can do with it. As you get more comfortable with it, then you can start looking into buying more stuff. See if you even like that route. 'Cause some collision guys, I don't think they like that route, right?
No, no, I've even got a coworker who honestly he loves glue pulling. It kind of like he had an epiphany, like I don't know, about 6 months ago, and I was like, dude, do some lateral tension on this quarter, and it popped out, and he's like, oh my god, and he's like, I love glue, and he's all into glue. He bought an $800 Cam Auto set and everything, but he has no intentions of going to PDR, and that's fine. I
Yeah,
mean, you can absolutely be a body tech that glue pulls. You can even push as a body tech, but have no interest in going full PDR. We're
yeah,
creating a more quality repair technician by doing this. So
yeah.
that's absolutely fine.
The less welding and grinding that you have to do on a panel, really, the better off you are,
Yep.
regardless of the situation.
Yep.
So that's
Yep.
what we're always looking after.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
And then once you get a little bit, you really, if you want somebody to look over your shoulder and get this training done, you have some options. You can go to a Dane Kings. You can. There are plenty of people offering training. I mean, it's just search Facebook and Instagram. Plenty of people offering training. I went to my local PDR tech who didn't offer training, and I said, "Hey, I'd like some training," and he went, "Okay." And we worked it out, and I got 2 weeks of in-person training from David White, and it was great. That's right, Eldar, a hybrid collision technician.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's a great question. Hardest part about glue, in your opinion? Hardest part. What do you think, Nick?
Changing your mindset 100% on how to approach a damaged area is going to be the hardest part. Second hardest part is getting used to getting the glues out and getting the tabs out and getting them ready and making sure you have all that stuff set up.
What's up, Brandon?
What's up? So, um, yeah, getting used to that, because you're going to be slower at first, and that's okay.
Sorry. No, he kept that a secret. I guess that's a Dent Wizard secret.
That needs to be a secret.
Uh, um, I'm but yeah, changing the mindset. No, absolutely. I mean, I mean, it all depends what your goals are with this. I think So, I mean, your goal could be to put the dent puller in the corner. You know.
I don't even know what this pickle thing is. I'm lost on that.
I don't even want to dive into that. No. I
You want to leave it
get.
alone? Because I'm
I
kind of
want to.
curious, but we'll
Well,
save it for
let
another
him
day.
tell us. So your goal could be to put that dent puller in the corner, let it collect dust. Just do glue pulling from now on. Your goal could be saving blends. Or you could even go as far as getting rid of filler, and just doing a glaze coat. They're just the fine details that are left, and all these. If once you've found your goal, I mean, you really have to be determined to get to it. And if your goal is full paintless dent repair as a body tech, getting that mindset of getting that last 10% glassed out, I think is one of the harder things for me. Um, and or was. I mean, I have that determination now, but I mean, it's hard to say I'm going to spend the next half hour on the net last 10% of this dent when I could just have it done in 5 minutes with a skim coat of glaze. You know. So I
Yeah.
mean, that's the mindset that you're changing. If your goal is full PDR, if your goal isn't full PDR, then that's not an issue. But you're still going to have your hurdles to get to your goal. Let's say I'd like to hit on our topic though,
Yeah.
and we kind of already did.
What's he asking here? Hang on. Let's see.
What has PDR done to deter you away from it? Um, so really, it's about that last 10%. It's taking the time to spend extra time learning how to do that. And you're basically, so I mean, we're getting into our topic now, the negatives of PDR. So when you're learning PDR in the shop, this is going to take longer. Most of us are on a efficiency based pay scale,
Yeah,
so you're
flat
going to be
rate.
slower and you're going to make less money during this process of learning PDR, of playing with tools, seeing what happens. And that could
Yeah,
be really
whether
tough.
it can be tough, and it is tough whether you got to learn it after hours or on your lunch break or just take time during the day on your job to make sure that you're doing something to lean towards that. It can be difficult, and it is. So, learning the steps, like he was talking about earlier, glue pulling. What's the hardest part? Making sure that you get all the steps correct every time for the glue to stick. Knowing the tabs, the theory behind the tabs. Every
Mm.
tab does something a little bit different, whether it's like an ice tab or a nylon based tab. There's so much to learn, and you can uh,
The anatomy of a tab.
the anatomy of the tab. Yes, that's what
That's right.
Gene Fetty put in his glue pulling program. So
Yep.
that would be something good for a lot of people to you can learn a lot from that.
Yeah.
Just and
No.
that's an online course. So yeah.
Yep. No. Absolutely. The Automotive Appearance Institute would be a great place to learn anything, whether you're in PDR or body work. Andy said he starved his first year in PDR. It's not for the faint of heart. Okay.
Yeah, that's that's kind of the learning process. Whether you're doing it full blown PDR, doing it collision repair, the steps, it's a learning curve. So you have to remember that going into it.
Did that affect family life? Okay.
Mm, I don't think so. I mean that goes into how far you want to take it, but um,
I
I
mean,
mean
it's so. I
if
mean,
you
if you're taking your personal time to learn PDR, there's a loss of time. If you're learning on the job, I mean, what you're doing is you're getting rid of some of your pay, but your time at home should still be the same. I would think. I mean, it depends how much time you really devote to learning this. I feel like you could do both.
You could do both, and that's one thing. Um, like you were talking about getting training, you can go and get training from a guy. Yeah, it's going to cost you some money, but you can take that, what would be a negative in time out of your life, you can make that into a family vacation if you wanted to, for a few days here and there, and you could turn it into a good thing if you want. But if you're strapped for money and just like holding your head above water, I probably would wait until I wasn't in that point before I tried something new. So
Yeah, it's having that nest egg, not a bad idea. Um, all right. So I mean, any other negatives of PDR you can think of?
I mean, I'm sure we come up with a few more, but I can't think of any right off the top of my head.
What about that crappy Nissan paint? We're not given the chance to give the customer a fresh paint job.
That's Toyota paint right there. The white and red Toyota, that flaking paint, Chevrolet paint. Yeah, that stuff. You have to be careful on stuff like that.
Oh
That's
man,
something else to learn, man. You get a hold of an older Chevrolet white truck and paint's coming off pretty
it's true.
much. I don't know if anybody else has had problems with that, but it is a mess.
That's for sure.
So,
It's amazing. I mean, making these videos, going back and seeing how I would have done a repair a year ago. Well, speaking of videos, so like I was just saying, it's funny going back and TikTok sends me my videos from a year ago. So
uh
for a while, I was getting all these repair videos where I wasn't doing glue pulling when all I was doing was glue pulling in real life. And it's amazing to go back. Let's add this video and take a look here.
so this would be a year ago. This is something that you have done before glue pulling.
This is about a year and a half ago now.
Okay, okay.
Grabbing the old suction cup.
You got to have one of those handy at all times. Absolutely, Viper.
Yeah, no problem, Viper. So first step there. I mean,
Straight with the
besides the suction
grinder.
cup, right to the
Just
grinder. That's. I mean, I didn't even give it a chance. I didn't
Didn't
even
even
go
give
on
it
the
a
inside
chance.
and try and tap it out or anything. No, no, right to the grinder and wiggle wire.
Straight, yeah, straight for the wiggle wire.
Now look at how much paint I took off of that quarter. I mean, I like to clean working area, which is fair, and it was
Yeah,
distorted to that far.
yeah. But you didn't really have a source of glue pulling at the time, which could have saved you a ton of trouble, right? So this was the
Right.
method you had.
This is when I was begging for that Kiko kit still.
Yeah, yeah. And I told you a trick about this. I think about it that same time on how to not have to do that.
Oh man. I'm gonna stand by. You should always weld up your holes. I mean, for
Yeah,
those that don't
anytime
know,
you
we have PDR guys in our audience. So I mean, for those that don't know, when you use the dent puller, sometimes it will make holes,
it will make holes, and you have to weld
and
them back up.
you gotta seal that back up. And actually, we have an example video coming up of somebody who didn't do that. So you get to see that effect. Look at all that tasty mud.
Making these PDR guys in here cringe right now with all that.
Oh man. I think so. If I had this in my bay now, I would have had that down to maybe about a spot like this with glaze.
Yeah.
You know, in the same amount of time is what I'm saying. If you'd given me more time, I'm still slow at this point. Maybe I could glass it a little bit better. But
Yeah. Go straight to the Mo clamp, tack and pull. Oh,
Yeah, that would have been the next step if the wiggle wire wasn't strong enough. I mean,
absolutely.
that's
That
the
would have been the next
traditional
step.
way. Those were my two. That's what I attacked them with. It was the wiggle
Look at,
wire or the
look
tack
at,
and pull.
look at.
Oh no, Andy. Sorry.
Yeah. But in reality, this is what collision
This is
is. This is
and
what's happening.
this is quality collision work at that.
Look at how much and PDR work. You don't have to wear all the masks. You're losing all that dust. You're saving all that you don't even realize.
I mean, look at what.
It's
And now I got
when
to
you do that every
spray. I got to spray
yeah.
primer.
Got to tape it up now. Yeah.
More bundo.
What's going
Dent
on?
repair now. How's it going? We're just reviewing repair processes from before glue pulling, as
Yeah.
I have evidence of such.
Yeah, before glue pulling.
To those of you who made it this far in the video, I appreciate it very much. I hope you enjoyed this repair. Make sure you like and follow for more. All right, that's enough of that.
Sounds so enthused too.
Usually I do my voiceovers at about 9 o'clock at night after a long day of work and tired. And then next day I listen to my videos. I'm like, man, I sounded tired. Let's check out one of yours.
Job. So
Yes. So Alex, I recognize you. This is when we get interaction from MoClamp on Instagram. It's Alex. I met him at SEMA. Super nice guy. I really appreciate all the support. You've been supporting my channels for quite a while.
yeah, absolutely.
Give it to me like.
Got those keys
Yep.
and a porta power. But you always do great metal work.
That one, the paint was too far on that one to even really think about doing glue pulling or even trying to keep anything necessary on that. But what I ended up doing with that, instead of using the traditional paintless dent repair knockdowns, I used roll pin punches to get all my stuff squared away on that one.
Oh,
And
okay.
they work good too.
So those were your initial knockdowns or roll pin punches?
Yep, that was my initial knockdowns.
All right, all right.
Yep.
All right, I got another one from you. Remember this one?
Yep. Yep.
This is that was somebody else's body work underneath that damage. Remember we were talking about holes and filler and got to weld up those holes? That's what it looks like when you don't weld up those holes.
When you don't weld them up, that's what happens.
Right there, all these little wormies. There's just a little bondo that goes in through the hole. So I mean, the reason why this is horrible for those who don't know is that you absolutely need to close these holes up. Filler will absorb moisture, and it will swell, and that moisture will cause the bare metal under the filler to rust, and
It will
that
rust
will cause expand the filler, crack the paint. And that's how everything fails.
Yeah,
That's
it
one
will
way.
push the filler off. It will push it absolutely off the panel.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep, absolutely. So, I mean, that's what we did before glue pull. So, I mean, it was Kiko training that got me helps hold the filler to the panel. I've heard that one before.
Yeah, that's an old saying.
Yeah.
It's always a good one.
So I mean, I started learning glue pulling because of the Kiko training from Gene Fetty.
Yeah, you told me
initially,
about
where did you initially did you get glue pulling training, or did you just buy tools and go for it?
No, I didn't. We had a truck come in the shop that was an aluminum, and it was a light company truck. It had the crane boom on it. So they were going to cut it off and put a new panel on it. And I kind of convinced them, hey, if you guys buy this kit, um, I can save that panel. And I said I could, and that if you buy it, and in hopes that I actually could accomplish this, and that I kept to my word. But I ended up getting it um, extremely close, and it came out nice. Very light coat of filler on it, and we worked it out. I didn't have to take all the crane and stuff apart, and the job didn't. We took it down from what could have been like a 2 month session, because who has a crane
Jeez.
big enough to get a boom crane off of a truck, in a shop. So yeah, that really saved me out, and I learned a lot in that process, how to get the glue stick, and it took me forever to figure that out.
That's
But
great.
I got it. It worked, and I did everything wrong at least 5 or 6 times.
Yeah. Oh, that's
So yeah,
absolutely great. Yeah. I mean, I've
yeah.
got some
How not to do it's how I started.
uh so I mean, so now that you've gotten the a lot of you got a lot more experience doing this glue pulling and PDR stuff than I do. How has that helped you in the what's up, Mac? Um, the how has that helped you in the body shop? Like we talked about the negatives. What are some
Um,
positives?
just overall glue pulling wise in general, taking, well, like that video, normally you would use, like Alex talking about the Mo clamp, you would use a tack and pull plate, or you would use keys, wiggle wire, or studs, if depending on the situation. So
Right.
that's really just another tool, and it's become the first tool you grab to get a gigantic major bulk of metal out, regardless if paint's missing or not. And like I said, going to all those steps, if you make sure that you follow that and go that route the first time, you can pull, I ain't going to say anything, but you can pull pretty much what you want to back in place, as long as it's mild steel, or even a lot of high strength steel, and it's repairable, per OEM standards or estimating. You can do about what you want. And then
Are you
it's
saving a
worth
lot
a
of
lot.
panels that would have been replaced just because you have the GPR and the PDR?
I think so.
Yeah, I
I think,
am.
yeah, absolutely. I think so. Lateral tension really has been kicking off in the glue world, but in the PDR world, I should say. It's been around a long time in the collision world. We've always used it in one fashion or another.
Right.
Not with glue, though. Really, back to
Right.
Alex right here. You stick a mud clamp on it on the frame machine
Right.
and get the tugging on it, and she does what she wants then. But that's the
Right.
old way of lateral tension.
Right.
Uh,
Yep.
Now we have
Yep. Yep.
glue. We're not so destructive to a panel to get it to um, a working point, I should say. So yeah,
Hey, L tabs. Eldar's L tabs.
L tabs.
You should do more. You should do more videos on the L tabs, Eldar. I think those are very cool. He takes sheet metal and he puts them in a way where you can make your own tab out of sheet metal and use a tack
Hmm.
and pull tool from MoClamp to pull on it. Very cool.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, I mean, I'll share some positives I've gotten from these. I mean, I'm a body shop employee, and in I had a Subaru Crosstrek come in, and it was hit down the side, needed a new fender, heavy front door repair, small rear door repair at the front of the rear door, and then there was a dent in the quarter. Uh, we'll call it a $50 dent, and it wasn't broken through, it wasn't cracked. And I'm going now to get to blend this quarter. I have to take the roof rack off. To take the roof rack off, I have to drop the headliner.
Hmm.
And the inside of this car was not clean at
Nasty.
all.
Typical car comes in a shop, destroyed on the inside.
So anyway, I mean, it came. I'll give him a little bit. It got towed in, so it came right
Oh,
from the scene. So they didn't have a chance to clean it out. But I wouldn't want to get in that car ever. It was pretty bad. Anyway, so I didn't want to take the headliner down. I didn't want to deal with their nasty interior. So I PDR'd the dent in the quarter.
hmm.
Save the blend. I mean, I would have done it even without the nasty interior, honestly. It was just another motivator. But I saved that. I didn't have to take the headliner down. And I got a phenomenal amount of time for that 2-inch dent. Because I said, listen, this is more than just a dent. You're not painting all this. You're not doing all these R&Is. You're not doing all of this because I'm able to do this. It deserves more time for that,
Yeah.
and I get it. So I mean, not only is it a positive for the shop, this is a positive for me, and it's a positive for the car. It got to keep its OEM paint on the quarter panel, and kept the blend down there. Another one I had was a BMW recently, which had creases down the side, and it had a sharp crease in the quarter. So there was no way we were getting out of painting that. It was cracked. The paint was cracked and everything.
Hmm.
And I was able to get that down to a skim coat of glaze. So no filler, just glaze.
Okay.
And then the rest of the creases that went from the quarter all the way to the front door, I was able to push out to a point where I could block them within the clear. And that's all the painters had to do was re-clear the doors, and everything was gone. Um,
What what tool what type of tool did you use to get some of that accomplished? Do you know the name of it right
uh,
offhand?
I did mostly I used the PDR finesse door tool with the ratcheting handle, and I really um, want if you haven't tried Black Magic tips yet. I mean, that's really the tool I've been using his tips on the most.
Yeah.
It's just super convenient. I mean, it pops on, pops off, it stays on. It pushes nice. It hasn't worn out on me. I'm still on my first one. Um, it's if you haven't
Black
tried those
Magic
tips yet,
PDR tips.
go
Yeah.
and they could use the support at the moment too. So head over there
Yeah,
and pick that up.
absolutely. I myself I haven't used those yet, so I need to go over there and pick a set up, I think. So try those
Somebody was
out.
talking about the R4 tips the other day, saying they were really great. So I've got to order some of those.
R4 tips.
The
Yeah.
R4 tips. Yep. And you know, oh, and I have one more win. I mean, it's kind of a win, and it's kind of part of the. We're touching on the negative a little bit too. I had a 2500. Actually, it's in my bay right now. The fender was hit pretty bad, and it's the white truck. I did a few videos with how you can see the dent in the light. You know,
Hmm.
I don't have it queued up here, or I'd play it. But the I pushed that out to a level where it was just a skim coat, and it was stretched. And this is the first time I successfully used a carbon rod shrinking technique on the back side of a panel without affecting the front side, and still effectively shrinking the metal. And
Yeah.
I've never done that before. And I got 7 hours to repair the fender, and it took me quite some time. But what I learned was worth it. I played with some new tips that I just bought, some phenolic tips, and
Okay.
I got to learn how those react on a panel that I knew was going to be painted anyway. So I got to, get used to that, and they're great. They really are. Um,
Yeah, I have some of
and
those, but they are
yeah,
nice. Yeah.
yeah. Actually, I was walking through the Anson booth, and all of a sudden I hear behind me, "Hey, if you don't have phenolic tips, you should get them." I turn around, it's Gene Fetty, and I'm like, "Oh, you
Well,
say
got to
no
get them
more."
now.
Yeah, say no more.
Yeah.
That's good. So yeah, I picked them up, and they are going great. Dog just decided to walk through the curtain.
Yep.
Yeah, and I got to learn about shrinking with the PDR way, you know.
Hmm.
So it was a great learning experience, even though I mean I didn't waste time, but I took more time than I mean honestly I could have just stuck the hammer and dolly and just dink 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 and been done with it in a half hour.
Been done with it and moved on. I kind of had a similar experience with the PDR hot box. I think the Baytag has it. I kind of played around with all the settings, and I used a scrap hood, obviously, but I would put oh, Jason X said he finally found it. Yeah, we've been
Yeah,
having technical difficulties on the first go around as far as the stream, but hopefully we'll have that up and up on our next one.
I did hit record, so all the whole recording should be posted
Yeah,
shortly after the show.
yeah. So yeah, I took it to 100%, and I seen how long it would take to burn the paint, and stepped it down from there. And I burnt the paint each time, but when you step it down from a lower setting, obviously it takes a little lower, or a little longer. So knowing where you can and what will and won't burn the paint, I found out if you can keep it to about the 160-degree mark on most panels, and anywhere past that, you're probably going to be in a failing point, and that's probably about the max you want to go to it. But if you have one of those and you're using that heating, especially aluminum, if you're heating that baby up and pushing alongside of it, that thing is works wonders, and that'll speed you up as well, because that takes a lot of the heat gun and torch away from a setting.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
nice. It's
No,
nice, but
it's I was even playing with my own. I'm sitting there playing with the Sparky machine on the back of the panel, trying to shrink it, and I'm going, wait a minute, I got a torch here, like torch air, like trying to shrink like that and make my own method. Didn't work.
mhm, yeah,
So I mean that's what there's another benefit of testing on these panels that are going to be painted anyway.
there
Um,
is, there is.
what what skills in traditional helped you when you were going glue pull and PDR?
Definitely metal work by far.
Yeah, like metal
Knowing
finishing.
metal finishing, knowing how to get the general shape back, whether you're using a slapping spoon and dollies, or like I said, I used roll pin punches, and even then, using those radiator hose picks, if I could wiggle it into a little hole, I would kind of do that already. But at then using it, I really had no intentions of doing PDR work, because honestly, I didn't even know where you could buy the tools. I didn't even know who made them or anything. I just knew that I had this, and if I could get back there and kind of push back with it a little bit for the small stuff, then the rest was easy. So incorporating that kind of stuff really helps. It helps. It helps knowing what metal will do what, because you know as well as I do, mild steel and high strength steel does not pull the same even with a dent puller. You have to do
Right.
different techniques and stuff to get it to go.
Absolutely.
And yes,
All the
that is,
hammers, yeah.
yeah, you got a ton of hammers, and they all come in their own special way.
Yep,
So
absolutely. Yeah, I never was really into metal finishing myself.
no,
So, no, I never really I mean, the way it was explained to me, I was pushed away from practicing that because the metal's thinner nowadays, and when you file, I mean, you have to be really good. You have to be as good as you. So to do that kind of stuff with today's metal, and I wasn't pushed to do that because it's tough with today's metal. Um,
yeah,
so
it absolutely is.
the parts, I still know a lot about metal flow. I mean, once you grasp shrinking and basically moving metal around, like when it's not stretched. It's just you need to get it moved into the right area in order to stiffen it up. And you understand about body lines and strongest to weakest and first in, last out, that kind of stuff. That's what really helped me once I was going to the PDR route, because I know how the metal is going to react to a certain amount of pressure in this direction on that part. I know that if I hit there, it's a lot softer than right here, because I've been doing it for years.
Yeah, so if you take somebody that's brand new into, say, they just want to skip the body work and go straight into PDR, they have no grasp of how metal is going to react when you take a tool and push up on it or out, or what kind of strength you need to use, or even a tool for that matter. What if you want to use a blunt tip or sharp tip, where to start? So yeah, that's all that
That
comes along with the learning.
Yeah, yeah,
So
absolutely. And just learning how to read the light. The fact
yeah,
that I can feel metal helped me, because I'm looking at the light and I'm going, I don't know if that's low or high. And then I feel it and I go, oh, it's low. And then I look again and I go, so that's what it looks like when it's low,
yeah,
you know? So having that feel, which takes years to learn as a body tech, no one's born with that. I mean, we feel dents, we don't see them in body work.
that's true. That's true. A lot of times, that's what a file does. You run a file over it and you focus on the low spots and kind of file down the highs.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So pretty much.
All right. Well, I mean, you want to move into our last section of the show? It's tool review.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
Let's do our brand new tool review section. Okay, so this episode, I wanted to put a spotlight on Cam Auto's new lateral tension. It was released at MTE, and I think a lot of people's reactions to it were, "Wow, that's complicated."
That was mine.
It was mine, but I got a chance to play with it, and it's really not that complicated. It just looks different, and because I mean, it looks a little on the odd side because it's just so multifunctional.
Yeah.
So let me play a little video here for you guys. I got the chance to spend 2 whole days with Charles in the Cam Auto booth at the Northeast Trade Show this year. I made a little video on it. Apologies if you've already seen it, but it's a great video. So here we go. Meadowlands Exposition Center, Northeast Trade Show. Let's go.
Well, I had the pleasure of helping out at the Cam Auto booth at Northeast Trade Show in New Jersey this past weekend. And it was a lot of fun showing everybody a lot of the new tools.
Oh,
Wow, that was
pretty good.
yeah, that was good.
I even got the edge
Among
on
the
that
new
one.
tools are the lateral tension system that they just came out with. I'm going to do a little demo on it for you right here and show you how simple the system really is to use. One really cool feature is that tab right there is the lateral tension tab. You can place it horizontally or vertically, or you can put them together as a double feet to bridge a body line like we are right here in this video.
You see how little glue I would put on it? I mean, we're doing demos, so I want to get it done quick. But
Yeah.
it still worked, even with that little amount of glue. And we all know that I should have put more than that. I mean, lateral tension, you can get away with less. But
Yeah.
if you're following all the rules, I love that sound.
Beautiful. I love it.
Yeah, that works out pretty good.
Yeah, it's a great tool. And it
nice
has a
sound.
lot of features to it. So
It's a good sound.
that's I mean, that's it in its simplest form. I mean, we are straddling a body line here, so I have it set up as a dual feet, and that's a little bit, I mean, it looks a little bit more complicated, but it's really not. It's just you take the tabs and you just screw them onto this bar that connects the two. So it's really not that bad. The extra parts that you're not seeing in this video, there's like the extra foot that sits behind the tabs. Those
That
are
keeps it
handy.
from diving back, right?
Right. So if you're
Yeah.
doing some powerful tensions like this one, and you add those feet on the back of the tabs, you won't dive. You won't create any collateral tension. I mean, it's the only system I've seen where you can put that much power into it, and it does not create collateral damage.
Hmm.
I've used a bunch of lateral tension systems, and most of them create damage. I mean, the only other one I've found that doesn't are the Black Plague green straps. Those work very well as well. But what I also wanted to say is that he also came out with a compression fitting to go in the middle of the bar, where it has a spring in it, and as it compresses, when you put more tension in, once it's closed, you know you put enough tension on. So it's like a visual aid to guide
Hmm.
you with how much tension you should put on it. And then you work your dent, and as you work the dent, it'll relieve some of that tension, and then you know you could put some more tension on it.
Yeah.
It's a really great piece. Instead of just cranking blindly, so it's really I think it's a great tool. It's a great option for lateral tension. Cam Auto is born out of body shops, not out of
Yeah. All
PDR.
their stuff. All their
Yes,
stuff is collision rated, I would say. So
it's more industrial. Yeah, it's
industrial.
yeah.
Yeah.
I like saying that. Yep, Alex said that's neat. Yep.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that wraps up the tool review. I mean, really, I just want to tell you guys that we're gonna have another episode in 2 weeks. We're shooting for April 15th, same time, 8 p.m. Eastern. Hopefully, we'll be on the Smash Masters Facebook then. But we're gonna have a guest. I'm not too sure on this subject, but it will probably be glue pulling, because the guest
More
will
than likely.
be the guest will be Gene Fetty from the Automotive Appearance Institute. We're really excited to have him on, and that'll be a lot of fun. And who knows, maybe we can hook some people up with a nice discount on an Automotive Appearance Institute subscription. We'll see. We'll get into the works
We'll
of that,
see.
but don't miss that episode, because it's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, that's the glue pool man himself with the
The
with all the.
Gluru.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you guys are interested in that, be sure to come and check that out.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate everybody coming in. We're only a few minutes short of an hour, but I say we did pretty good for our first episode. What do you think, Nick?
I think so. I really do. I think so. But I would say, support your local dent slayer. Keep going and going out there and kicking tail, buying some tools and getting
There's
that learn
Gene.
on. Yeah, super stoked. Absolutely.
And hey, Jason, I'm going to be contacting you. We got to get a date for you to get you on here.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
have a
So
good night, Eldar. Thanks to everybody for coming out. I'm going to wrap this up. If you're all set, Nick.
yeah, I'm good. You guys have a good one and appreciate you stopping by.
Bye, everybody.